Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So, a bit of a Christmassy theme today. So today's video is going to be all about Christmas and diets. Why is it so hard to diet over Christmas? Why is it so hard to stick to your diet over Christmas? Why is it so hard to lose weight over Christmas? Why is it so hard to start your diet before Christmas? And before I get into the video, quick note, later on I'm going to be talking about a free webinar I have. So stick around to hear about that. But for now, let's get into the Christmassy video. And first of all, let's answer the question of when is the best time to start your diet. Most people will start their diet after Christmas because they see Christmas coming up and they see it as an obstacle. However, the best time to start your diet is before Christmas. Why? Because obstacles are good. Christmas exposes you to the things that you need to learn to be successful with how to think about food, how to navigate social situations, how to navigate situations where there's a lot of food. And exposing yourself to problems gives you the chance to try something out. And you get feedback on that. And either it went well, or if it didn't go so well, you can ask yourself why that was, and what do I need to do next time, to not have that happen again. So you learn something and it makes you better for the next time. So when you expose yourself to situations, you're not always going to get everything right, but that's just a normal expectation. It's the exposure that gives you the learning experience, the knowledge, and it exposes your blind spots, we call them. So things you hadn't realized. And like I said, that gives you valuable feedback, which you wouldn't have got otherwise, and it helps you the next time. And if we think about it, your year is going to be full of things like Christmas, Easter, parties, weddings, events. And so how are you going to navigate the next thing? And you can't wait for each of these things to come and go to stop and start your diet again. So it's a very valuable thing to learn how to deal with things where there's going to be a lot of food, a lot of people around, and a lot of influences. So the biggest thing with Christmas and dieting is the black and white, all or nothing perfectionism mindset. So that is basically saying, when I can be perfect and follow my diet to the letter, I will do it. And when I cannot, I won't do it at all. So there's no in between. You don't know how to navigate the grey areas. You don't know how to think about food. You don't know how to make decisions around food. So before Christmas, you're like, oh yeah, I can follow my diet. And when Christmas is around, I can't. So I'm just not going to do it at all. And this creates several problems. First of all, you go all out because your mind is like, ooh, we got a chance to make up for all those restrictions we have had and might get in the future when we go back on the diet. So let's make the most of it and let's get our fill. So you end up eating a lot more than you wanted to really. You end up often violating all decisions around food. You overeat, you feel stuffed quite often. And you're not eating in moderation. You're going overboard, really enjoying yourself. So just to clarify, you're either on the diet, totally on it, or you're totally off it. And when I say totally, it's usually totally, right? And some of this comes from what you've accidentally taught yourself. So over the time you have been dieting, the way you've been dieting and restricting your foods has actually made the binge eating worse. And while you're dieting, the willpower held up and stopped you doing it. But as soon as you get a taste of that food, and you can tell me in the comments if this resonates with you, you end up going all out and binging, and you feel like you lack control. And this is the big problem. And then also, because Christmas is coming up, if you haven't yet started your diet, you think, oh, number one, because Christmas is coming up, why start the diet and then ruin it all? And number two, I really want to enjoy myself and I don't want to deprive myself. So yeah, I'm not going to start the diet now and I'm really going to just enjoy Christmas. So a few things to think about here. Number one is, again, that black and white mindset, but why do you feel you need to enjoy yourself so much? So several reasons. Number one is the fact that when you do dieting, you do it to the extreme. And so you need to have your fill. You need to feel like you're not missing out. So because you've restricted so much and because you have this perfectionism mindset around dieting and you feel like you need to be very good and not eat anything that you actually really want to be eating or enjoy, you have these big periods where there are opportunities to do that you don't want to miss out on, which creates this on and off the diet kind of mindset. And then as well, your emotional needs are probably being met by food. So if you take those away, then your emotional needs are not being met. So let me explain that. As humans, we have emotional needs. So needs for fun, excitement, variety, human connection, things like that. And you can meet them in different ways. You can go for a walk with someone, and that might be human connection. You can go have fun by climbing a mountain or doing a sport. And these are just like activity-based ones. But you can also do the same thing through food. So human connection, go out for a meal. Variety, different foods. Fun, have fun with people around food. And the point with this is, if you are using food to meet all your emotional needs, then this is something that your unconscious mind actually needs to get. And if you take it away, so let's say you didn't have Christmas, let's say you cut out Christmas or didn't go to any Christmas events, you would feel there's a big lack in your life. And so we need these things to be met, these emotional needs. But the solution isn't to go and have everything, it's to transition into meeting these needs in different ways. So how do you get human connection? Food is just an excuse to get people together. You can still get human connection without having to go overboard with food, and you can still get fun, variety, excitement, all those things in your life in other ways. But it's just a learning process of what can I do that gets me the same fulfillment as I did before with food. And just a side note, it feels natural to get it with food because that's just the way you have habitually done it. Anything new, you have to think about and actually plan to change something. So it takes a little bit of effort in the beginning, but it's worth it, right? If you lose weight and reach your goal and are happier. The other thing I wanted to mention was the fact that a lot of people feel that when they are going on a diet, they are depriving themselves. So when Christmas is coming up, they think, oh, I'm not going to deprive myself. If we slightly reframe this in our minds, we are not depriving ourselves by eating less food. We're actually empowering ourselves and giving ourselves a better life because we want to lose weight. And all these amazing things that can happen to us, the amazing life and confidence you'll get when you lose your weight, you're not depriving yourself, you're adding to your life. So it feels like you're depriving yourself, maybe because of the way you are doing dieting, but by changing the way you eat into a more positive way that serves your goal, actually adds to your life. You're not depriving yourself, you're adding more and you're getting more. You're going to be happy, you're going to have your dream life once you reach your goal. So think about it like that. You're not depriving, you're not cutting out. You are adding to your life, just in a different way. Now, when you are going to Christmas events and you're eating all this lovely food, how often are you actually present? How often are you mindful and actually savouring the food you're eating? And one thing I find is that because a lot of people know that there is endless food, they are not really present and savouring what they're eating because they know there's going to be more. And so it's kind of wasted on you. You're not really enjoying it to the full. If you were given one small piece of something and said, really think about that and savour that, you would really enjoy it a lot more. Whereas because there's so much food around and probably endless days of it, then you have this thing of, just eat, oh yeah, that's okay. Feel a bit stuffed, but I'll have some more. Not really enjoying it, but it kind of numbs me and it's nice for the second that I eat it, that kind of thing. So you're not really truly present and savouring that food. So really consider that when you are eating. What is the point? And is it actually having the overall benefit that you want? Are you actually really enjoying it? And I mentioned before the black and white mindset. Are you black and white with your movement and exercise as well? So quite often people are like, well, because I'm off the diet, I'm off my exercise as well. So they end up doing nothing. They end up eating more and moving less. And it doesn't need to be like that. It doesn't need to be black and white. You can still exercise, move around, and it has huge benefits. You'll burn more energy, you'll become fitter, you'll feel better by moving around. So having this black and white mindset doesn't help at all because it sabotages your health, your progress. And you end up doing nothing when you still could be doing something. Having that grey mindset of, I'll do something, I enjoy going for a walk, I enjoy exercise. You may not make as much progress as you would have if it were other periods of the year where there may be less food around, but you do less, let's say, damage. And there's still the overall well-being effect of going for a walk, feeling like you have more movement in your day, things like that. And then we have to actually think about your goal. So say to yourself, what would I be happy with over the Christmas period? Let's say I'm happy not losing any weight, but just maintaining my weight. So I'm going to adjust how my eating is according to that. Or I'm happy with actually enjoying food a little bit more and maybe putting on a few pounds, but still within reason. I'm not going to go crazy. So adjusting your goal and expectations, having that already in your mind, sets you up for a positive outcome afterwards because you're not surprised when you stay the same weight, or you're not surprised when you put on a couple of pounds because you already kind of planned it in. So you've already consciously become happy with it. So goal expectations are great as well. And also you could still have a goal to lose weight, but it would require a little bit more reining in the food, maybe a little bit more movement and exercise. So it's all about what you're happy with and sort of managing the goal. And so managing the expectations and then having a better starting point afterwards. So that's it. Like I said, there's several things that make Christmas and dieting really difficult. The black and white, all or nothing perfectionism mindset where you're on and off the diet, and meeting emotional needs, all your emotional needs through food, and not savoring foods, not really being present, not having goal expectations in your mind, things like that as well. So all these things that come together, how to think about food, how to navigate the grey areas, how to make decisions when there's food around, how to deal with people and influences. This is all part of the mindset of losing weight overall and the skills you learn. So important that you don't get on other diets. So I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I have a free webinar. So this webinar is the 3 steps to solving emotional eating. And so a lot of people say, oh, I might not have emotional eating. What is emotional eating? So fat loss is an emotional problem because every decision you make is based on how you feel. And your feelings dictate your behaviors. And if you feel a certain way, let's say negative, your behaviors reflect in that and the negative behaviors. If you feel better, if you feel positive, then you have positive behaviors. So fat loss links in with emotional eating in so many different ways. And then we have, of course, cravings and binge eating, things like that, which is a little bit more in-depth and serious. So this webinar, I will post a link down in the comments, is the 3 steps to solving your emotional eating. So if you'd like to join that, that is down there. And any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. If you'd like any personal help from me with your diets before Christmas, I don't often like working with people after Christmas because it's that mindset of, oh, I want to get Christmas out of the way. So actually, purposely, I say, if anyone wants to work with me, I'd rather work with you before Christmas to help you learn these new skills. And so if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.